What's good, Wizards fans? The Washington Wizards lose to the New York Knicks, but a great debut by Marvin Bagley. We're going to talk about that and Johnny Davis being moved up and down and back and forth from the G League. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to PrizePicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code all lowercase LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, so the Washington Wizards lose to the New York Knicks in a close one, which was a winnable game. They lost 109-113.
Oh, yeah.
But, we do want to talk about the man of the hour first, Marvin Bagley. What did you like and what did you not like from his debut? He did have a double-double tonight in his debut, so a lot of good things and definitely some things we want to see him work on. But what were your thoughts on Marvin Bagley tonight?
So many good things. Let me get the bad out the way. Free throws. Get that man at the free throw line. Definitely working on free throws, man. Over 5. But look, he came in, he played well, inside scoring, interior defense. I mean, he surprised me with a stat line as far as defensively. 3 blocks, 2 steals, 20 points, 11 rebounds. I mean, he was active. I mean, as far as scoring in the paint, man, he's very, very active. I love what I saw from Bagley. I think he's going to work out in DC. I love what he brings to this team, man. Looking at how his fit would be with Gafford. Look, I'm not too ashamed to say that maybe he needs to start. And definitely Gaff could be the guy off the bench. I'm a big Gaff fan, big Gaff supporter. But Bagley brings an element to the Wizards that is sorely needed. We needed rebounding, we needed interior defense, we needed interior scoring, and he provides all of that. And then you combine that with Gaff. Now I feel a little better about the depth at the center position. Now, do we have a whole lot of depth? Nah, we maybe need a third center, but Gaff and Bagley can play in tandem with each other. Apart from each other, they definitely are really good 1-2 punch at the center position. So I love what I saw from Bagley. Very active. He's got that dog in him. I mean, the whole team, man, had dog in him tonight. Very proud. I mean, look, it's a rebuilding team, but we played as a team tonight. It was a very winnable game against a team that, look, let's be real. This is a playoff team in the Eastern Conference in New York. The Knicks are our playoff team. And we came in and we show how good we can be when we play team basketball. Again, shout out to Jordan Poole. Been very hard on Jordan Poole. We kind of talked about it before the broadcast, man. Reason for that. Look, I want to see him succeed. When he's starting to really show that he's starting to lock in. Now, I get it, the shot at the end, and then there was a couple of shots tonight, man, that were kind of like, man, you didn't have to shoot that, but he is starting to lock in. He really is. You see a lot less antics and bad shot selection. He's working. I mean, if you look at his stat line tonight, man, 24 points. I mean, 7 for 19 from the overall from the field and 2 for 9 from 3. So efficiency was an issue, but he got to the line. 8 from 8 from the free throw line, including 1 steal. So he was very active, very aggressive driving the lane. Also driving the lane, very active was Denny Avdia. 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 for 5 from the free throw. He was driving the lane. He was definitely trying to draw fouls. Both of them were very aggressive. I love what I saw from Jordan Poole and Denny Avdia. Very, very aggressive. Now, obviously, their jumpers were not hitting. Denny did a good job bringing the game inside. His jump shot was not hitting tonight, over 3 from 3, but he was very aggressive driving the lane, and he definitely contributed in other ways. So Denny and Jordan Poole, hat goes off to both of them tonight. Very good performances. Kyle Kuzma, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 for 16. Very underwhelming when you look at his, what he usually scores. Usually 20 plus points, but very, again, maybe he could settle for that shot a little too much, but he did provide a night. He had a really good night. And then looking at Tyus Jones. Now, at first, you're going to say, well, 2 points. Well, 15 assists. And that's what we want to see from the floor general at point guard, is a guy who's going to be distributing the ball, finding open shooters. 15 assists is money. I'm trying to tell you, especially when your counterpart is Jalen Brunson, which he had a really good game for the Knicks, man. But this ain't the Knicks show, so we ain't going to talk about him. So the Wizards, man, overall, team-wise, the starting 5, they look fluid. They look good. The ball movement was flowing. Rotation's a little crispier. They look good tonight. They really did against a team that, again, is challenging in the East. Now, are they favorites in the East? There's a whole nother conversation, but they are a team that you got to look out for in the East, man. The Knicks have a nice setup. Maybe they're not done willing and dealing, but again, but looking at the Wizards now, looking at the bench showed up, E. The bench definitely showed up. Kispert, 10 points, 2 for 3 from 3, 4 rebounds. Kispert did his thing. Koulibaly, while the jumper wasn't dropping, obviously defensively he was on money in the night. 5 points, but defensively he was solid. Shamet, 13 points, 5 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3. So he is definitely working on a trade up out of here because he looked good. I mean, Shamet's been looking real good, man. And then rounding it out, DeLon Wright, which is underwhelming, but it was a very underwhelming game, but he had a presence on the defensive side. And one thing to look at, Patrick Baldwin Jr., man, 6 minutes, but we both said that he's can he be a little limited offensively? Yeah. I mean, he's a shooter where if his shot's not dropping, he kind of disappears from how effective he can be. And maybe, you right now, I'm not gonna say at the deadline, but right now, maybe you see kind of compete him and Livers against each other, and again, trying to see what kind of minutes you can give Livers and see what he can provide. But overall, wonderful team victory, or not victory, team game. It could have been a victory. I'm with you. It could have been a victory. They fought hard to the end. Obviously, Jordan Poole's shot was ill-advised, man, but Jordan Poole had a lot to do with them keeping it close, too. Yeah, a couple of ill-advised shots tonight, but he played well. And he locks in, man. We'll see. Like I said, I wish him well in D.C. We'll see what we have, because I think after the deadline, I definitely want to see what he can do with the ball in his hands. So, overall, great team game.
100%. I mean, Bagley, he was refreshing to watch, man. Just an athletic big that can finish above the rim like that. Finishing in transition, dunking on people. The 2 blocks on Julius Randle back-to-back, that was awesome. A lot of people say he can't defend, but he was blocking shots out there too, being impactful. Just seeing a big man with talent out there, not getting in foul trouble, not getting winded, not getting tired. That was an improvement right there for the Wizards out there. Just and a guy that can rebound. He's a great offensive rebounder, man. He gets a lot of putbacks.
Yeah.
He's a lob threat. Didn't catch any lobs, but he finished around the rim. He did miss a couple of layups out there. The free throws were frustrating. Him going, what was he, 0 for 5 from the free throw line? So he really could have had 25 and 11 out there. And he had a couple of rebounds where he dropped them too, where they kind of went off his hands and went out of bounds. There was 1 or 2 that did that. So he could have really ended the night with 25 and 13. Played 39 minutes. I mean, and I love Gaff, but it's hard to play him 39 minutes because either one is foul trouble or the sports asthma thing that came up. He hasn't really said that since the first year he was here. But I think they're going to play well together when Gafford does come back. The conversation about who should start, I think I would start Bagley, and then Gafford can go back to his role where I think he's better suited as a backup big, and he just come off the bench with a lot of energy, he's running the floor, catching lobs. But to stick with Bagley, 10 for 16, 20 points, 2 assists. He had a nice pass to, I think it was either Bilal or to Denny. 3 blocks, 2 steals, just a stat sheet stuffer, a +2 out there. I mean, nothing but positive things to say other than just the missed free throws and a couple of missed layups. But man, he's what we needed, man. He's what we needed. And he's not going to move the needle as far as wins or losses or anything like that. But just for the development of the team, man, and for us to be more competitive and not have the other teams big go out there and score 30 points and 20 rebounds. Mark Williams and other bigs just come in and have the night of their lives. So that was refreshing. Julius Randle, we actually kind of did a better job against him. He didn't go for 40 tonight. When Denny said that, it's not hard to guard Julius Randle. So I guess Denny did a better job just overall. But unfortunately, we did a better job with Julius Randle, but Jalen Brunson ended up with 41. He had 10 points in a row at one point in the fourth quarter. You can say what you want about the refs. You can argue about the refs. I'm not just gonna blame the refs or anything like that. But yes, they were giving him a lot of calls. Every time he went to the basket, he got touched. They were blowing the whistle very quickly. Brunson, how many free throws did he end up? He shot 13 free throws, which certainly is a lot of free throws. Jordan Poole got to the line. He shot 8 free throws. But Jalen Brunson, yes, every time he was touched, they called a foul for sure. But he had a heck of a night, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. He had a heck of a night. He controlled the game. He got to the basket. Nobody could really stop him. He's a great player and all that. So that was really the thing right there, man. They could not stop him from getting to the basket in that fourth quarter. Jordan Poole, we'll get to him. Like you talked about that shot. they did need a 3. They were down by, I want to say it was either 6 or 5, and it was a 2-possession game. So they did need it. They did need a 3.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad. I wasn't, excuse me, 100% mad at this shot because they needed it. Mathematically, you look at the mathematics of the game. They needed a quick 3 to come down. Now, eventually, we did get that 3 because Shamet hit the 3 off the inbounds pass, which I will give Wes credit. I thought that was a well drawn up play.
Oh yeah,
Shamet was wide open. He knocked it down. Then we fouled DiVincenzo, who's a bad free throw shooter. He's like a 70% free throw shooter. He actually made both of his free throws. If he would have missed at least one, then we could have came down and hit a 3 and tied it up. So I love the effort that they played with. They're more competitive. They didn't look checked out, and that's what I think that's what Bagley did too. He provided some energy, so guys are just not looking checked out. Because the last couple games we've seen either they're playing hard or they're checked out. So I want to see if Bagley's energy will provide some type of juice to this team. And when Gafford comes back from concussion protocol, I get it. We're trying to get the best draft pick, but like you said in the last video where you went on the rant, at least play with heart. Yeah, at least play with energy. And I think that's what Bagley can help out with. You brought up Tyus Jones too. Didn't shoot the ball well, but at least 15 assists is no joke. That's awesome from him, and his trade value is a first-round pick from what we're hearing about with the rumors and whatnot. So a lot of playoff teams are going to look at that 15 assists. They're going to be like, "Hey, yeah, we can use this guy. We don't need him to score, but if he can get our best player open for a 3 or a wide open dunk, then we could use this guy in the playoffs for sure." So Tyus Jones, I love what he did tonight, even though he didn't score. DeLon Wright, we'll get to him too. A lot of people are saying he played a little selfish tonight, just taking a lot of shots one-on-one and whatnot. But overall, and Denny, I thought he had his moments too. He went to the basket, he played hard tonight too, into the basket. And then Kuz, not his best shooting night. He had his moments here and there, but not his best shooting night at all. But excuse me, the main story tonight is Marvin Bagley, and I love what we saw from him tonight. And I think that. He was the second pick of the draft for a reason. Yes, I get it. Luka, Trae Young, and all those guys. Yeah. But man, he's talented, man. He's a talent. He's a talented guy, and I think he's in the right position here where he's not going to worry about playing time or anybody yanking him out if he makes a mistake. Like he's going to get a lot of minutes here. 39 minutes is a lot of minutes, and I think he's going to get. Even when Gafford gets back, I would still give him about 35 minutes a night.
Absolutely. To me, we found our starting center. Mm-hmm. To at least the deadline, and then we'll see what we do as far as the lineup, because we'll see how many guys are traded, etc. But I mean, he looked good. I mean, scoring, we missed. Look, we say this a lot, and this is probably my last time saying it because I think everybody knows Gafford. I'm a big fan, but he's very limited offensively. He's a lob guy, but he has to be spoon fed. And I say it in all due respect, but he does. If you look at Bagley, he's able to create his own shot, especially in the interior, and that's what we need. Jalen Brunson, you can't blame the refs, even though it's New York City, it's the Mecca, so they're gonna get those calls, man. Jalen Brunson with that elbow, man. Look, I'm gonna say one thing before we move on, man. What I like about Jordan Poole, he played like a dog tonight. He was getting aggressive with Jalen Brunson. He really was. Is he a guy's gonna be a stopper? No, but I want to see a dog come out of him, because as far as the future of him in DC, man, we'll see. His value is nil right now, so I do believe that after the deadline, they're going to put the ball in Jordan Poole's hand and say, "Here, you got it," and see what he can do, man. Because if he play with that dog, if he could definitely buy into what they're trying to do in DC, man, I'm intrigued to see what he can do. Because when he at the beginning of the year, all of us like, "Oh my Lord, man!" Like all the shots, all the issues. But I'm seeing him lock in. I really am. I've been tough on him, man, but I'm seeing him lock in. When he played tough on Brunson and had that attitude, I like attitude as long as controlled attitude. He had a little dog in him tonight, man. That's what I want to see. Have that dog in you. Get aggressive. Get mad. Get in his face. Don't let nobody drop those points on you. There was a fight tonight with this team that you have not seen on a consistent basis here. And I loved it. I love the attitude of the dog this team had tonight, man. They fought hard against a really good Knicks team. And so what's the name of the game now? Consistency. I want to see these type of performances every night. Play hard. Play to win. Even if we don't win, play hard. Play to win. Play as a team. And this team will get better. And you will definitely see a lot of strides with this team going forward. So.
100%. Yeah, we just want to see effort, man. That's all. We're tired of seeing them waving a white flag in the third quarter and putting the bench in and whatnot. But we're gonna get to Johnny Davis next. Before we do that, today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Our partners at eBay Motors have teamed up with Locked On Fantasy Basketball host Josh Lloyd to bring you some of the best fantasy picks each week, all season long. Whether you're prepping for a daily draft or scouting the waiver wire, every week we're going to provide you players that are guaranteed to fit on your roster. So let's see who Josh has picked out for us this week. For this week's eBay Guarantee Fit, fantasy picks of the week. All right, so he's got our guy Marvin Bagley III with Daniel Gafford in the concussion protocol. Bagley has a shot at nice minutes on his new team for the short term. Clearly, that was a great pick by Josh. He had 39 minutes tonight and ended up with a double-double, 20 points, then 11 boards. Another guy is Gigi Jackson from Memphis. Memphis needs shot creation, and Gigi can do it. He has shown flashes, and he should be someone managers can look to grab and see how Memphis deployed. Gigi Jackson had a couple good games this week as well. And also Mason Plumlee, new starter for at least 4 weeks. For 4 weeks for the Clippers. Mason Plumlee can be a serviceable center for your fantasy team while we wait for Zubac to return from injury. Josh Lloyd from Locked On Fantasy Basketball is going to help you win your fantasy championship, and eBay Motors knows a championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. Same with your vehicle. Make sure you guys check out eBay Motors. Also, with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you can make sure your ride stays running smoothly. Brake kits, LED headlights, roof rack, bumpers, whatever your baby needs, eBay Motors has it. And with eBay Guarantee Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride the first time. Every time or your money back. Plus, at these prices, you're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay Guarantee Fit only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. Also, make sure you guys check out the Locked On Sports National Network. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. All right, so Johnny Davis, he was sent to the G League on what's today? Thursday. I want to say like Tuesday or Wednesday, and then he played in the game against the 905 Raptors. He ended up with 3 points, which was surprising to me. Eugene Omaruri had like 29, and then Johnny had 3 points. Then I want to say either today they called him back up to the active roster. So what were your thoughts on those transactions with Johnny Davis over the past 48 hours?
I think they need to figure out what they're going to do with him long term, man, because he's a young player who, as we know with young players, confidence is key, very key. And if I put myself in his shoes, even if we wait till the deadline or after the deadline to give him minutes, his confidence is shaken. He has got so many inconsistent minutes. And, can you say it's on him a little bit? Maybe. I mean, when you get the opportunity, you want to see people capitalize, especially with the go-go, man. You're struggling with the go-go. Lord have mercy. What are we talking about? But I think to a certain degree, and like I said, I wish Johnny well, man. I wish that, whether it's here in DC or somewhere else, he gets the opportunity to develop and find who he is in the NBA. But it's looking less and less like it's going to be in DC. So, I mean, I think the kid can play ball. I think he definitely needs to be developed. He is far from, ready to have a significant impact on the team right now because he's got to be developed. I don't think he's been properly developed. And so I think to a certain point, man, you've got to cut bait to the last link to the Tommy Shepard there. I mean, because that was the last draft pick from Tommy Shepard. And, no matter what perspective you have, he was the 10th overall pick. And if you look at the talent that was drafted after him, you're looking at a guy at that draft position who is supposed to come in and contribute right away, or at least in a fashion where if you develop him right, he can become a guy who can add something to your team. What does he provide? I mean, so I think this is just a very unfortunate circumstance, man, from every angle, because his career is taking a hit. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had really an opportunity to really showcase what he can do, and it's an unfortunate circumstance, man. So I think he has to be moved. I think looking at the deadline, try to put him in a trade where he can go somewhere so he can develop and go from there, man. Because I don't see what his future is. Like I said, they could take the wait approach and see what he can do after the deadline. But then after all this time, as a young guy, man, his confidence is destroyed, man. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Where do you try to regain that confidence in him? And that's gonna be hard, especially when you have a youth movement and you're trying to find minutes for young guys, and then poof, he's getting DNPs. So his confidence is shot, man. So I don't know if he's a piece here going forward, and we'll see if he goes somewhere where they can properly develop him. And it's tough to really point a finger at what went wrong with Johnny Davis, man. I mean, you can see, was he the right pick at that draft position? We'll see. I thought that he looked pretty good in Wisconsin. Yeah, but I'll say this. I'm not going to blame anybody. I'm not going to blame Johnny, but I will say this, man. I feel like they failed him from the get. And I'm going to say this because trying to turn him into something he's not, a point guard, a three-point shooter, that did it. You should have played him to his strengths with his mid-range and defense. He's a mid-range shooter. He's a guy who he likes to drive the lane. He likes to get inside and score. He's not a three-point shooter. Yeah, you can look at the stats in Wisconsin, but look how many attempts he had. Well, like 1, maybe 2 attempts a game. Nah, man, he's not a three-point shooter. And the fact that they try to change who he was, his DNA as a player, it really curtailed his career, man. So I'm not gonna blame anybody. I'm not gonna blame the coach. There's a whole new front office, so it's obviously not on the front office. It's not the owner's fault. I mean, it's just when they started trying to change his game straight out of daggone college, they failed him. You should have let him be what he was, which is a mid-range shooter who can drive. So we'll see. If they can find a way where he can get some minutes at the deadline, I'm all for it. We'll see if we can recoup him, get him straight, and see if he can be an asset for this team going forward. But if his confidence is that low, send him somewhere where he can develop. And that's where I'm at with Johnny, man. I wish him well. I really do.
Yeah. And the thing you brought up, the mid-range game, it's hard for that to translate to the NBA.
Yeah.
The NBA is it's a lot of, they want you to either get to the basket or shoot threes, and just that mid-range game where he's just not creating separation. Because even from the summer league, you could just see it where he just struggled to create separation in that first summer league, where he really, really struggled. But you look at the shot, his jumper and the form is really funky. The way he's, just dipping down and, cocking the ball to the side. It's just unfortunate. I don't know if that's the staff telling him to shoot like that or what, but it's unfortunate to see that. Looking at the stats in the G League game, he had 3 points, 1 for 6, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line, 1 assist, 2 turnovers, and a -8 out there for his G League game the other night, which is just like, it is confidence for him too, man. And like you said, I think the new front office, they're just not invested in developing him or giving him any playing time, maybe after the trade deadline, but I think it would be best for both sides for him to start fresh somewhere else.
Yeah.
And, Will Dawkins and Travis Langley, it just looks like they're just not really invested in trying to develop him at all. But yeah, Tommy Shepard, they said it when he drafted him. Woj tweeted out they drafted point guard Johnny Davis. And he's not a point guard. He's a 2 guard that can score. I think he's a good defender too. I think he can help some teams out in the league. Of course, it would take some time, but unfortunately they drafted the wrong guy. I think Johnny's super talented, but I think he was a little overdrafted. And I liked him before the draft. I really did. And it's unfortunate now. You look at it in hindsight. Jalen Williams on the Thunder is playing really well. Jalen Duran on the Pistons is playing really well. So there's a couple guys that were drafted after him that are playing really, really, really well. And then also you look at them bringing, Isaiah Livers and some other guys, and Patrick Baldwin is getting more playing time than Johnny Davis at this point. He's getting minutes, and Johnny he can't get any minutes at all. He's only getting garbage minutes. You're telling me Johnny can't get 5 minutes right now in the rotation? So I was saying that earlier in the season that they should have gave him a couple of minutes just to let him play. He's the 10th pick of the draft, but I feel like Will Dawkins knows what he is, and he has an evaluation on Johnny, and he's just not invested. I think he's ready to move on. I do feel like they're going to move him before the trade deadline. If not this year, then certainly in the offseason. But yeah, it's unfortunate for him to be the 10th pick of the draft. Tommy Shepard, I think that was like that might have been the last straw for Tommy Shepard. Him getting fired. Honestly, I think Ted might have looked at that too, and just how it didn't work out already. And I think that might have been one of the last straws for Ted to finally give Tommy the boot. So, but yeah, Johnny, I wish him the best in his career because I do think there's talent there.
Yeah.
But right now it's just looking like Will Dawkins is not invested in giving him any time. And for him to go to the G League, it is disappointing, And I'm not going to say the G League is the worst thing in the world, but for him to go there and then call him back, it's just like, yeah, this is it, man. This is it. So I think respectfully, it's time for them to move on. And I think they're kind of realizing that he's just not in their plans. And they're evaluating Bilal. They're gonna develop Bilal as much as they can.
Yeah.
And some other guys that they pick up in the future.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's very unfortunate, man. Because I know there's different opinions about, should they have changed his game. To me, you got to play to the strengths of the player, man. And he was never a 3-point shooter like that.
Oh yeah,
he was never going to be a daggone point guard. I don't know why. I mean, I know we both kind of complained at the time, like, wait, why are you trying to turn this guy into a point guard? So I wish him well. I really do. Whether it's here or anywhere he goes, man. I'm with you, E. I definitely think, and I believe there is talent there. So we'll go ahead and get into some comments tonight. But before I do, I'm gonna holler at y'all about PrizePicks. So you guys are definitely wondering, what is PrizePicks, right? Well, it is actually the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you can pick more than or less than 2 to 6 players and their stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. So with the basketball season here, you can now pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 more players from different sports or leagues. For example, LeBron James plus Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift at 10.5 combo or 3 points made in receptions. I'll definitely take that. Want to play alongside of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill and comedian Andrew Schultz? You can do that now in the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks even offers a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, that is big because if your player exits the game in the first half and does not return for the second, that player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. I'm trying to tell you, that is very big. So all you got to do is go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use promo code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. And again, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use promo code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to a C note.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's look at some of these comments here. Johnny Davis. A lot of people have a big opinion on him for sure. He's definitely a polarizing player. Let's go with some positive stuff here first. Edward Moore says Marvin Bagley is what we needed. He seems to know how to be effective. 100%. He's a guy that's very talented. I mean, you look at the way he played at Duke. He was a heck of a scorer, great rebounder. He's 6'10", man. He's a lefty. He can jump out the gym. Very skilled. His dad was played in college. So, I mean, he comes from a family that played a lot of basketball too. So the guy, he's just a highly skilled player. And the missed free throws it makes you mad. It makes me mad because he's better than that. He was an 82% free throw shooter on the year. So he really should have had 25 points tonight. And it's just refreshing to see a big man that can put the ball on the floor, can score. Like I said, we love Gaff, but he's a different kind of big. And Marvin Bagley, he's really, to me, he's more of like a power forward, but he can play the center position. Small ball, 6'10". It's not like the old days where you're like 7 feet tall. Everybody's a 7-foot center. But he's a 6'10" guy, can face the basket. So it's just refreshing to see that, man. A guy that can create a shot for himself and can score the ball. We just haven't really had that at the center position in a while.
Yeah, I mean, very refreshing. Marvin Bagley, man, like we both say we're big fans of him coming out of Duke. Everything in sports is about the right fit. He found the right fit here. He was able to, provide what we've been lacking: rebounding, interior defense, and interior scoring. So he came in, he did the right things, and I'm really excited to see him and Gaff as a 1-2 punch, man, at the center position going forward, man. So he looked good tonight, especially with your first start, especially with getting DMPs and then coming in. You get traded. You go to a team who plays in Madison Square Garden of all places, and you're starting. Mm-hmm. So he came in, he started, he played well in the Mecca, and look, he's going to do well here in DC, man. Always been a big fan, man, but it's different because now he's on my team. So I'm very, very excited. Very excited.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Some Jordan Poole comments here. The Truth says Jordan Poole lost this game was that last shot. I already said what I thought about the last shot. I thought mathematically it was the right idea because and I'll pull up the play-by-play here too, just so I can be, accurate on it. They were down by 5, and we needed a 3. I'm pulling it up right now, but I know they needed a quick 3, so that's why I wasn't mad at the shot. Like I said, like I explained at the end of the game, Shamet ended up hitting the 3. We ended up fouling DiVincenzo, or really at the time we had a little bit of time left on the clock. Maybe he could have went to the basket and shot a layup, and then we foul. Hopefully they missed one of their free throws. We come down, hit a 3, tie it up. So, yes, I get the argument. A lot of people didn't like the shot. It wasn't the best shot. Certainly, it was not. You could have got a better shot than him just pulling up. but that's just kind of the player that he is. Not kind of, that is the player that he is. He likes to do that. So he does shoot a lot of no, but if it goes in, it's like yes kind of shots. So yeah, I thought we could have got a better shot than that for sure. And then Wes actually did a good job of drawing up an inbounds play to Shamet, and Shamet hit the three. So actually, I give some credit to Wes there then. But yes, I do. You have some truth to your statement for sure. I don't think he lost us the game, but this shot was definitely a questionable shot.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, under the circumstances, it's kind of 50-50 with me. It's just one of those things, man. If he makes it, are we still having this conversation? You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, man, where if he misses it, it's all about perspective, man. I think he's definitely starting to lock in. He's starting to definitely lock in, and that's what you want to see from him. Because he had a good night. Now, efficiency, he's going to get there, man. It's going to come along. I do think he's starting to realize what kind of player he's going to be in DC. And once he realizes who he is, I want to see a lot more hops in the shots, a lot more shot selection from him. But yeah, it's not on him. I mean, like I said, if he makes the shot, we're talking about a whole different situation here. So, like you said, shout out to Western Still Jr., man. He definitely, the play he drew up was on money. It was a good play, and this is what we want to see from West, man. It's like, just game planning, drawing the plays. Definitely getting creative as far as creating plays for these guys in the clutch moments, man. So that is exactly the right move, and that's what I want to see from West, man. Good move.
Yeah, so I actually found it now, so I can be accurate. So it was actually 104 to 108. Jordan Poole misses. It was 18 seconds left. Jordan Poole misses a 25-foot 3-point pull-up jump shot. We're down 104 to 108. So yes, he didn't have to do that. He could have took it to the basket or passed in somebody. And Jalen Williams has 25 points. I'm sorry, Jalen Williams is having a good game tonight for the Thunder. But Jordan Poole, yeah, he could have took it. He could have took it to the basket. It would have been 106 to 108.
Yeah,
we foul DiVincenzo or foul Hartenstein. Somebody try to foul somebody like that. Anybody but Brunson. And hopefully they missed the free throw. We come back down, hit a three. So yes, actually mathematically, he did not have to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's perspective, man. I mean, it's just that situation is it's perspective, man. So I'm not gonna say that the game was on that shot.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's
right. They fought hard, man. I guess there's a positive to say about this team is that we were in the position to win against a team that's really good in the East. So,
yeah, Edian, I like this comment here. Honestly, like both Bagley and Gafford, no reason to compare both of them. I think they both can help us win it. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, Edian. I think Gafford will be back in a better role where he's a backup big. Like when he had his best year with the Wizards, that was when Russell Westbrook was here. I want to say, was it Robin Lopez that started or Alex Lynn? One of those guys started, and Gafford came off the bench, and Russ was just spoon feeding him for lobs and dunks and layups and stuff like that, and he came off the bench. So I think he'll go back to a better role, where when we play the Sixers, we're gonna get cooked by Joel Embiid anyway, because Bagley's just a little too small to guard Embiid, but at least. When he comes off the bench, he'll be guarding like Paul Reed instead of Embiid. Yeah. He'll be guarding instead of Anthony Davis, he'll be guarding whoever the Lakers' backup center is. They don't really have a backup center, but you guys get the point. So he'll be guarding more of the backup guys and going up against those guys, and he should be able to dominate against bench players, honestly. So I think that will be better suited for Gafford. And they're two different players. Gafford's a rim runner. Bagley's a rim runner, but he does other things too. Yeah. And he can step out and shoot, not the three, but he can shoot a mid-range shot. So, yeah, as far as comparing them, you already know what we're going to get from either guy. But I think both guys can play pretty well together.
Absolutely. And, after the deadline, man, when you see a lot of these the veteran contracts move off, could you see lineups where Bagley and Gafford in the same lineup? Absolutely. I mean, really, the lineup second half, and I know people are going to get on me about it, but point guard, I mean, is Jordan Poole exactly point guard? Not, I don't know. He's a combo guard. I don't know if he could be that guy. We'll see. But I mean, I definitely think they need to see what they can do as far as see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Now, Bilal is definitely a guy that I would love to see start after the deadline. Denny at 3. So you could see Bagley at the 4 and Gafford at the 5, depending on if they pick up another center. But I think that's a big positive to take out is that you got a lot of guys in this team who can play multiple positions. So West has a lot of pieces to mix and match here and there to game plan, and as opposed to just running the same lineup out there. Depending on the matchup, you could see Bagley at the 4, Bagley at the 5, Gafford at the 5. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the one positive look at, is that you have a lot of options to mix and match and game plan according to the strengths and the deficiencies on the other team. So I'm looking forward to that. As far as capabilities, Wes Unseld Jr. Can he step his game up as a coach after the deadline and see where a lot of these pieces go? So
100%. Somebody said Galford. Shucks B says you think Bagley gonna take Galford spot, but I know what you're saying.
We got an English guy on the roster. What's up, Galford?
Yeah, Galford. I think he should start personally. Yeah. I think it would just be better for Gav to come off the bench, so he can play better against some of the bench guys on the other team. And Bagley, man, he's very skilled, super talented. I think he should. This could be a revival of his career, honestly. Yeah. This could be a revival for his career. So I'm excited. I'm excited for Bagley, man. I'm excited.
I am too, man. I think this definitely could be a change of scenery success story. I think he definitely is going to bring some energy to DC. And, like I said, the second half, man, that's going to be the team to watch. Because like I said, I know a lot of us are waiting to see the deadline, man, and to see, what moves are made and what minutes are going to be provided for these young guys, man. But I'm telling you, man, after the deadline, it's going to be a fun to watch young team. They are. It's going to be a really fun team to watch.
Yeah. Excuse the language from James Williams, but he's excited, man. He's excited. He said, hey, yo, Bagley can freaking ball, y'all. So people are excited, man. Bagley jerseys, they might be flying off the shelves. Number 35, get that District DC Stones Bagley jersey, man. We don't know how long he's going to be here. But Bagley's playing well, man. He's playing well. I took the over on FanDuel for him at 13.5 points. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and take that. I was upset they didn't put double on there for Bagley. That's what I really wanted to put on there. Bayer man says, Gafford will get his stamina up if he ever wants to start. Yeah, that's the thing too, like his stamina and just foul trouble. Seeing a big that is not constantly getting in foul trouble, that was refreshing too. Yeah, like I said, I don't want to keep knocking on Gaff, but that was refreshing too. And I'll say it again, Gaff was the only big we had. Muscala and Gallo, they're not big men at all. So we did leave Gafford out there to dry.
You know what? Look, we've been tough on Gaff, and understandably so. But let me tell you, when we find his place on the roster, he's going to flourish because like I said, offensively, yes, he is very limited, but I think he can play, man. He can definitely rim protect and be a lob threat, man. So I think he does have a place in this team going forward. It's just finding the right place for everybody. Being that starter just ain't him, man, and that's good. We know that now, but you best believe, man. I think he can definitely eat off the bench, man, and do well. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Right. Somebody says, "Did you guys see Johnny's game?" Yeah, we talked about that where he didn't play well in the G League. I don't see the point of. I thought it was pointless to put him in the G League, especially if you're not going to play him. Yeah. If you're going to bring him off the bench, I thought that was useless. I don't see why they did that, to be honest with you. And it kind of, I'm not going to say embarrassed him, but it kind of did embarrass him, honestly, to put him down there and, lose that call. Yeah, I've been calling for a long time. But, excuse me, I thought it was pointless to do it. Honestly, I thought it was a little embarrassing to do it. And to bring him back in a matter of 24 to 48 hours, I don't see the point of doing it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. You see that one?
Right, yeah. Yeah, I know. You guys joking me about the every show I need a cup of tea and a towel over my head. But and last thing I'll say about Johnny, too, unfortunately, just looking at the draft picks behind him, Mark Williams. This is hindsight. Mark Williams and Jalen Williams, Jalen Duran, Walker Kessler. They weren't going to draft Walker Kessler, but just Tari Eason. I think that's the guy that you could kind of say that they were going to get for the Rockets. He's playing really, really well. Yeah, but I think they just have to admit that they made a mistake. And I kind of feel that way with the Commanders with Emmanuel Forbes. I just feel like, they just Ron Rivera made the wrong pick. And I think Adam Peters, they need to move on from Emmanuel. It's too early. I hate to give up. That's the thing. I hate to give up on guys in their first and second year. But with Johnny and his situation, it's just to that point where you have to admit that you made the wrong decision. And I think it's best for both sides to move on. And it's unfortunate that it's at this point because I think Johnny, I loved him coming out of Wisconsin. But right now, it's time to move on for me.
Yes, sir. It's time to move on, man. It's time, man. Just admit your mistake. Last link to Tommy Shepard. So it's unfortunate, but hopefully he finds some place where he can definitely develop. So I wish him well.
Yeah. A lot of comments coming in because, all the trade rumors coming around Kuzma and Tyus Jones and whatnot. Also, a lot of people giving DeLon Wright a very hard time saying that he should have got a DNP. DeLon, he didn't shoot the ball well tonight. He kind of had some moments where he was trying to go one-on-one a lot tonight too. Excuse me.
Yeah, which is not his game. And it's just, it's just an off night for him, man. But I see him rebounding, man. Because he's definitely the guy we need on the second unit for the defense and leadership, man. So yeah, it was an off night. Yeah, when I see him trying to hit threes on people, I'm like, man, what's going on with DeLon tonight, man? But he'll be all right going forward. He'll be all right.
Yes, sir. But we're gonna wrap it up tonight. Thank you guys for watching and listening, making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you guys get podcasts. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hell to the Wizards. Peace.